have to fear. I can't stop thinking about the future. I see my path is so clear. So here I go, I won't look back. The choice is mine to be the best. The time is now to make all these dreams last forever. So here I go, I won't look back. The choice is mine to be the best. The time is now to make all these dreams last forever. Forever BEO. Forever BEO. Forever BEO. Forever BEO. Forever BEO.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Welcome again to this BEO Online International Summit Program Edition 2020. Thank you all for being here. In order to have like a really smooth interaction, please know we'll give around 15 minutes once the speech is over for a Q&A session. Although if throughout the presentation there are any comments or questions, feel free to share them on the chat. My name is Laura Robles. Nice to meet you all. I am a BEO representative for Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and I will be your host today. Nice to meet you all. I would like to introduce you to our speaker, Lesbia Nasser from the Dowell School in Honduras. Lesbia, raise your hand so they know where you are. Perfect. She will share with us applying BEO to students' school life. In this session, Lesbia is going to show us first her background experience, then how it all started, the recruiting process, getting your team ready, the training process, and the actual competition. Lesbia was born in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, as I said earlier. She's passionate about her job, her family, and the arts. She has been an educator for almost 25 years, a professional singer, wife, and mother. She has a bachelor degree in marketing, specialty in pedagogy, and a master's degree in education. Lesbia is the former head of the English department at Dowell School, currently the high school academic coordinator and in charge of international programs. She has been group leader for BEO for the past 4 years and also coordinator for other international programs in the United States. So please, let's welcome Lesbia Nasser. This is yours. Thank you for being here with us, Lesbia, today.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank BEO World and also Melvina Tuche, our representative, for this kind invitation. It is an honor for me to humbly share my experience. I think I said this yesterday in our first session. I do not consider myself an expert. I'm just here to share with my colleagues my experience, our experience as a school, and what has worked for us from the recruiting process, presenting the program, the training, and most importantly, the learning process, and in the end, the outcome, the student outcome, which is, I think, the most important thing for us as teachers. So let me start off by sharing my screen with the presentation. And then you let me know if you can see the presentation already. Yes? Okay, thank you. So, as Laura just mentioned, I've been an educator for 25 years, born and raised in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. Well, in my past, I was formerly an artist and a professional singer for a very long time. And I started off with a degree in marketing and advertising before I became passionate about education, and I decided to change what I was doing. But I think that everything we do in life serves a purpose. And in the end, this musical background and the advertising and marketing helped me and came in handy when I became an English teacher. I was an English teacher for a very long time, and I was able to apply this to my English classes. And I think that incorporating music and, you know, theater and doing commercials and all of those things made my classroom dynamic. And then when BEO arrived to my life, I think it was a perfect setting for me. So I am glad to be here and hopefully share with you my experience. And I know that maybe in this session we have BEO experts, and maybe we also have teachers that are thinking about joining BEO as a program that I strongly recommend for you to dive in and take that challenge. So as I said, you have heard a little bit of about my background experience. I was also very fortunate to have participated in previous international programs. At the time, I was an English coordinator in my school and a US history teacher. So I was sent to this program like 2 or 3 years before BEO that takes place in Washington and New York. And I think that luckily, this gave us the foundation on what was needed in order to come up with a program and really do this in school, as we were trained with the whole process and the protocols and the logistics. And taking the kids abroad is a huge challenge and responsibility, from, you know, the financial part and the hassle of the traveling and everything that has to do with their safety and their medical care. And as you see, I'm sharing some of the pictures in New York and Washington with this group of students. When this happened, 3 years after my experience, then BEO arrived. And I have to say that it was a huge challenge. This is how it all started. Honduras was invited for the first time in 2016. I remember that at the time, 3 schools were invited, 2 from Tegucigalpa and another one from San Pedro Sula. And as I'm mentioning there in my slide, definitely it was a challenge and at the same time a teacher's dream. And when I say a teacher's dream, I mean also an English teacher's dream. I think that as English teachers, we're always, you know, hoping for students to have command of this second language, of the English language. And BEO provides that space for them, where you can actually see them apply everything you have hoped for. Kids have the opportunity of speaking in public, of applying, of investigating, of being fluent with the language, being able to communicate, and most importantly, to actually communicate with people around the world, not only from their culture. So ultimately, I think that it's a huge challenge. At the time, thinking about competing in an international English Olympics sounds huge. But at the same time, as a school, we had this previous, you know, knowledge of other programs, and we knew exactly what were our expectations as a school in terms of what the programs had to offer, the security, their whole system, their organization, and BEO complied with everything. Because I think that as a school, you have to always be responsible of, you know, the places that you decide to participate with your kids. And the fact that there's a whole system in control, you know, staffers, and everything is so structured and organized, that gave us the confidence to dive in and take that leap of faith and try it, of course, with all the enthusiasm, the motivation, but at the same time, you know, the nervousness of, you know, trying something really new and putting our kids on the spot, actually, and the school and the country, because this is a huge thing. I always remember with a lot of pride that BEO said when we first went there, that Honduras was, the most pleasant and big surprise of the competition. They were so glad. I don't think they expected that a small country in Central America had such high levels of, the command of the English language. We are a country that is very much bilingual, and our education in bilingual schools is very strong. So we have a lot of English speakers, and our kids have a, very good, usage and proficiency in the language. So we were happy to see that and to acknowledge that. Sometimes we don't know how well we're doing until we can actually test ourselves with other people around us. And I think this is a huge opportunity to do that. And then, of course, how do we do it? And of course, there's no magic recipe. This is just more or less a way in which we start this recruiting process, getting your team ready. And this part is very complicated when you start thinking of how am I going to do to select a group that will be strong enough for this competition. And actually, you never have guarantees, but it is very important that as a school, you have your own structure. As a school, we have our own, and I will share it with you. We always start with the program presentations. As you see, I'm sharing a picture of a school assembly. We usually, as a school, have, a presentation of our clubs and all our extracurricular activities and our international programs. And this is when we present the programs to the kids. At the same time, and in those same days, we also program special meetings with parents. We have open houses where we present the programs. All this as a hook, as a first capturing their interest. And of course, kids start signing in, right, to the programs that they feel attracted to. But then that is just the first step. With those kids that have signed in or registered, then we came up with an application form. And you might feel, well, but that's very formal. And the application form serves different purposes. One, for instance, the fact that we include information that will be crucial to you in the process related. And of course, this information, they have to sit down with their parents, which is great because then you have the parent involvement in terms of, information about them, their date of birth, etc. But then also it includes information like, if they have their passport, if they have their visa. So we have already that information firsthand. But most importantly, the reason for the application form is that our application form asks for the student to look for a teacher that has to recommend them and sign the form. They also have to write a short essay about their intention and why they want to participate on the program. With that said, this immediately eliminates the students that are really not interested enough to be part of an international program. We have to always bear in mind that the kid that is submitted to this type of program has to be really willing to do a lot of work, because besides their academics, their curriculum, their extracurricular activities that they might have, they will have to learn to handle the training sessions, the after hours, the possible rehearsing on a Saturday, the rehearsing within school schedule. So a student that is not really motivated and they're just thinking, oh, I want to travel, okay, definitely, if they do not do the application form and they don't have this, eagerness to fill out the form, write their essay, look for the teacher, that already eliminates students that are not really interested in participating. Then as a school, we also have, our regulations. We have our handbook for international programs that is well known by parents and students, with everything that has to do with their rights and responsibilities in terms of the program, of the training, which are the parents' duties in terms of, what they have to do for supporting the kids, picking them up from their rehearsals, of course, the financial part, if they're able to afford the program and comply with the deadlines according to the program or the school. And so this regulation is very, very good, so everybody knows exactly what they're expected, okay? Now, this next step to us is very important, the interview with the students. Once we have checked the application form, they do go through another filter. We check their academics, and we also check their behavior in school. Their register of behavior or conduct throughout the years. Why? Because the student has to have, you know, a good record in terms of behavior. This is a student that is going to go out of school to represent your school and your country. So you are expecting that this will be a student that follows instructions, that copes with, you know, limitations and follows guidelines, not only by the school, but also by the BEO program, because they will have to comply with a lot of things when they get to the competition. And then the academics, we by no means ask that the students have to be honor roll students, for example. We don't do that. But we do at least ask that they are passing all their classes and that they're not struggling academically. And this is very important because remember, I said it, these kids are going to be submitted to a lot of stress. They will actually work more. They will, besides the regular, you know, academic curriculum, they will do research, they will learn their speeches, they will do rehearsals after schools. There will be times when the training process comes, and I'll talk about it later, where of course, very close to the competition, you know, rehearsal after school is not enough. So then of course we have to, you know, program or schedule some training sessions within class schedule, so they have to be taken out of class. So a kid that is struggling academically will definitely not be a candidate for the program. And then the final step, once all that is done, the kid has been interviewed, and this is very important. The interview serves a purpose also of verifying that the student is the one that wants to travel. And I think that if you've had the experience just like me, sometimes we have eager parents that want to send their kids abroad, but the kids don't want to go. And that will be a problem throughout the process if you just have a willing parent and an unwilling child, because the child is the one that is going to do the work. So it is very important that it's the student that really wants to live the experience, that is willing to go through all this process, because if not, then you will have trouble as you work with them. The parents' final consent, it comes when you have done all this process, and then parents finally, you know, proceed to sign, you know, a form where they acknowledge the program, they allow their kids to participate, and they can afford whatever cost the program may need. And that is how we start off with the recruiting. I would say try to be open-minded. On our first year, we first thought, okay, so BEO students should be the English stars of the room. And those are the ones that should participate, not the shy one, only the stars, the ones that speak the best, the best students in English. We thought that was all about. And then we were pleasantly surprised, even with the first group, when one of the kids or two were not the ones that were the best students in class, and they did amazing things, and they were part of the group. And then we started thinking, let's give the opportunity to any kid that wants to arrive. Of course, you have to let them know that they have to speak in public. The student might be shy, and that's fine. Actually, this will help them for their life, and that I promise. But he has to know that, of course, he has to be willing to stand up in front of an audience and speak. That, yes, but allow them. And you will be surprised to see how kids that you have never expected before can surprise you when you see them on stage speaking, when maybe in the past they have never been, you know, the type of student that speaks in front of everyone or that avoids expositions, etc. And you can see the difference. And give them that space, and you will have a lot of rewards with students that will grow. Ultimately, I think that should be our goal, not to stick only to the stars, but to all the kids. All the kids should have the opportunity. And then, of course, we move on to the training process. Now, I'm mentioning some of the things related to the training process because we could have a session only about the training process. I'm sharing some of the pictures that you see here are of my 3 generations, the 2016, 2017, and 2018. There was no 2019. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it. And we do have a 2020 that will be the 2021, hopefully, if things are able to happen, that we're almost ready. We were almost ready when the pandemic happened. And when you start your training process, as whoever does this process in school, because I understand that this may vary in our school, as I'm in charge of the international programs, I'm responsible of doing this along with my English department, because of course the English department is directly involved for sure in BEO. At the time, as I said, when I started, I was the English coordinator, but since I am the academic coordinator now in high school, I still do the programs along with the English department. So organization is key. When you receive the guidelines as a teacher, please, study, read those thoroughly. You have to be the first expert of your guidelines, but start thinking about your organization, your logistics, and your scheduling. And when I mention this, I'm not only saying organization, logistics, and scheduling directly about academics and the competition. You will have to handle a lot of other things. So it's not only organizing, okay, when are you scheduling your training sessions after school? If they're within schedule, which are the movements you have to do in your school schedule to do that, which teachers will collaborate. Logistics that have to do with the traveling. If you decide to do it with the program, but if you don't do it with the program like we do, for example, you have to hire, a travel.
It seems she had a problem with the internet.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, I'm sorry. Something happened and I was disconnected for a moment, but I'm back. Can you all hear me? Yes, right? Okay. I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
This is part of working virtually. I think that all as students, with the students and your schools have experienced this. And well, this is part of what we're doing when we do remote learning. So let's move on. As I was saying, when you do your first activities, it is very important to get to know the kids. For example, in our school, we open international programs from 9th grade to 11th grade. Our school does not have 12th grade. Our seniors finish their year in 11th grade. So that's a personal decision as a school. I know that BEO is open since the kids are 12, meaning 7th grade, but we decided they were not mature enough. We think that they're better prepared and more mature as they reach the 9th grade. And also culturally, our parents are less willing to send their kids when they're younger. So that's why we decided to stay with the 9th to 11th grade. But what does that mean? That means that you will have a group that is very varied. And I promise the first time they sit down, they look at each other, and especially the little ones, they feel a little, scared when they see the seniors with them. So before even starting off with the guidelines, you need to do activities that will promote the students to mingle, to be confident in one another, to get to know each other. If you are their English teacher and you already know their strengths and their weaknesses, that's great. As an academic coordinator, I know most of my students, but then that also gives me the opportunity to know them. And this is very important before we move on to the next step, which is dividing and investigating. If you know your group, we have been very lucky to have at least 1 or 2 kids that are musical or that sing. So you already know those are going to be your kids that will lead the singing contest. And in our case, for example, for the play, this is a personal choice of ours. All the kids participate in the play in our case. That's something we have decided. It's a complete effort. If they don't consider themselves very good actors, then give them a small role or have them be in charge of the special effects, but have all the kids involved. And as you know your students, in our case, that's how we start deciding, when I do the dividing and investigating, which student is going to be in which competition. Of course, I always have in my mind, as I know them, this kid will work better here, but I also allow them, and this is very important for them to think, which one would you like to do? And sometimes you'll be surprised and you'll say, oh, but I want to do country spotlight, or I want to do BEO investigation. Give them the space. I usually personally begin always my training preparing my group. I divided into, and I have half of them in the BEO investigation and the other half in the country spotlight. And then after they have started off that part, and we divide with the teachers, I assign one of my teachers or the English coordinator to work with one of them, and I take the other group. But at the same time, I'm also starting to have the ones that are working with the music part. And then the theater also starts. Okay, the last thing we do is debate. That's the way we do it. But then, very important, the investigation. When I say investigation, I do mean not only the kids, we as teachers have to do a lot of investigating. And I think that we have to be prepared, and we don't know everything. I remember the first year we were assigned with Kyrgyzstan, and we all had to learn, and we learned so much about Kyrgyzstan that we never knew before. And it's important that kids know that you don't know everything. And very importantly, and I think I will say it throughout the session, allow the kids to do their work. Don't do it for them. Even if you have already investigated and you have everything set, do not give it to them. They have to be responsible of finding the information. Just guide them through the process. And then, of course, think about collaboration with other teachers. In our school, we have not only strong academics, but we also are very strong in our artistic curriculum. We have, a lot of specialized teachers. The school has been characterized by that. We have, orchestra and theater and in other areas that are in the arts. So collaborate with those teachers. Even with my musical background, I always enjoy to do the part of the songs and in the dancing and the theater part, but I do collaborate with other teachers. I collaborate with the music teachers to help the kids with me and in what has to do with the song, the theater teacher as well, that helps the kids in terms of guiding the performance, not writing anything for them. And this is very important, and I want to emphasize and say this several times. We have to allow the kids to do the work. Okay, they should be the ones that will write, they will investigate, they will write their their presentations. They should be the ones to write their script for the play, to write their lyrics for the song. I sometimes feel tempted, so I always allow them to start writing their lyrics, and then I can sit down with them and suggest, okay, what if we change this word for the other, and so on, and help them in the singing part. Or we have the theater teacher that will never write anything for them. Everything is their idea. In our case, we have never written the whole play. We work by scenes, and the scenes happen as we practice, and it's their creativity that it's enabled, and that's the way we work. So it is very important that you allow that collaboration and allow the kids to do their work. And then coping with training and academics, it will always be hard. That's why I say this process, besides the rewards and how rewarding it is, it has, of course, the hassles and the hardships of many things you have to face throughout the process. As the coach, you have to go through so many things besides the kids, the logistics, but you also have to be their support. At that time, you are the teacher, but you are their support. And if you have, very competitive kids that are, by the way, very good students, which happened to me this year, for example. Almost all my students in the group this year are honor roll students. So you can imagine the pressure and how demanding it is for them, because an A student wants to be an A student always. So they were stressed if they had to miss out on classes. So as a school, we have come up with different strategies. In our case, we have made several academic decisions. When I was the English coordinator, I proposed them, but now as the academic coordinator, we can work with that. For example, the kids that are in BEO are evaluated in their English class while they're training, especially third partial, which is, where the training, I think, gets the strongest, very close to March. They're evaluated through the program and not by what they're doing in class. And I think they're doing way more in the program than what you would expect for them to do in class. The kids are investigating, they're writing, they're speaking. What else can you ask for? So they're evaluated in their class through their training, and that also provides commitment from them. If, for example, they're taking a music class and they're involved in the song contest, then they're evaluated also through their their competition. So we find ways of kind of helping them a little. Also, we program special sessions for them. As I said, sometimes we have to remove them from a class, and remember that these are kids that are taking classes like math, chemistry, physics, and so on, and they don't want to miss out on class, but you need to rehearse. Sometimes the scheduling only allows for that. So it's important you come up with a support system, an academic support system, where the school will provide a space for the kids to work. all the teachers in the school are notified of the students participating in the international program, so they are a little bit more understanding. And they know that when we have to ask for the kids to go out of class, or that they're asked to do the special assignment, teachers have to realize that these are kids that are staying after school every day, and that are doing a lot of other things that the rest of the kids are not doing. So we ask for the teachers to be understanding, to program reinforcement sessions, especially for them, in case it is needed, you know, to review whatever topic they feel that they didn't get or they didn't have enough time to see before being tested, even programming different, you know, days for testing if it's necessary. All those things, it is important. If you are the English teacher and not in charge of the high school academic, I would recommend that there has to be a team effort in order to help the kids do their best. In the end, they're representing not only your school, but your country. And then, of course, well, uniforms and attires, that's part of what we do. You have to think about, in our case, for example, as we're from Honduras, a very tropical country, we didn't have a uniform that was, you know, the style that we get to see in BEO. So we had to come with an adaptation to our own uniform, adding, you know, the suit and the vest. So we came up with the official BEO uniform that is exclusive only of the students that attend the program. And then you have to have this person who will do the special attires for the country spotlight, or the theater if it's needed, or the singing, or whatever other competition demands a special attire. So those are other things that you also have to do throughout the training process, and figure out schedulings for the kids to do the fittings. And then this last part, the final rehearsals and the meetings. It is important to stay in contact with parents. Parents have to be involved. We usually have 3 big meetings with parents, one at the beginning. After the presentation and that they have accepted for the kids to participate, we have a meeting at the beginning, giving them more in-depth information. Then we have another one in the middle, you know, of the process. And then, of course, the last one that is just before the trip, where we, you know, kind of go over, you know, the last minute things about, you know, the traveling and you know, the suitcases and the things that they need to make sure they have before traveling. But throughout the process, we are always in contact. We're always sending emails back and forth about everything. In my case, I have to be also on top of, you know, payments, and if they're making payments on time, etc. And I always like to have the kids informed, and I always expect for them to inform also the parents, even though I am formally telling parents what's going on. I like to involve the kids, and I like to hold them, you know, responsible of, you know, actually mentioning the information to parents, because they should be the ones that know what's going on, the process, where they are. I always ask for help, because parents are busy people, and sometimes they miss out on meetings because they didn't read my email. So it is important that the kids take that responsibility. Final rehearsals, in our case, I know that we all rehearse, and sometimes we do it in a small room in different spaces, or, you know, if we have a special theater in school, we practice. But final rehearsal for us, we try to make it as real as possible. So I like to, like the last weeks before the trip happens, I like to program like general rehearsals where the kids do all their presentations, but with everything, like on stage and mics and sound. We even invite some school authorities so that kids start feeling, you know, what's going to be like when they're actually subjected to standing on stage and doing their performance. Also, that helps me out with the testing of how they use the mic and the way they move and so on, even though we have been rehearsing movement, but sound, I think it's very important. We in school, usually by the month of March, have a theater festival. That's a tradition in school. And when our play is if it's ready by that time, we always have our BEO kids present the play to the audience. And that is amazing, because it gives the kids the opportunity to see if, having an audience and really being able to feel, you know, what the audience is responding to. If they laugh, it was meant to be funny. And so it's a good trial for them before the presentation. I think that's basically part of the training process, very summarized, that I can share with you. And then, of course, when you think about BEO, you have to think about all the advantages. And I have listed some here that I promise are not the only advantages that a student will get from the BEO experience. If you see, well, students become more confident in their English skills. That is a given. In their speaking and oral skills, of course, just by the fact that they're able to stand up in front of someone and speak. That is a skill that they keep for life. And they learn to collaborate and to work as a team. And I think more effectively than ever before. Even though collaboration is a trend and we do a lot of collaborative work in the classroom, I think the collaboration that the kids experience throughout BEO is priceless. They really learn how to, be each other's support. When someone's lacking something, then the other one helps. If someone fails, the other one comes in and helps out. And they understand that as a team, they're one thing, they're a whole. And that collaboration is fundamental. So I think that's a skill that will serve not only for this, but for life. As adults, we need to collaborate. And sometimes, even as adults, we struggle to collaborate, or sometimes we're reluctant to collaborate with others. And that is something that we have to master for our life, regardless of the area of work that we decide to actually do or work with. Then, of course, as I mentioned before, the students, of course, develop their imagination and their creativity if we allow them. So let's allow them, because for everything, for every competition, there's space for their creativity. Call it the BEO investigation with their proposals, or the way they want to handle it, or the country spotlight and what they want to add, if they want to do this singing or the song, and allow them to do what they want to do. When I see my kids produce their play, because I basically stick to checking their script, for grammar and how to write it correctly, and make some suggestions. As I said, the theater teacher helps them out, but it's the kids creating, and they do the scenes as we practice, and one of them is taking notes, and then they send the script of whatever they did that day. And it's amazing how sometimes they had, an ending they had thought of, and in the process as they're developing their play, that the end changes. And it's amazing to see how creative kids can be. So let's give them that opportunity. They become more independent and they become more responsible. We have always protected the kids a lot because of the times that we live in. Of course, every culture is different, but we come from a culture where we protect the kids a lot and we do a lot of the things for them. But it's important that they are held accountable for the things they do and the things that they don't do. They have to be responsible. You, throughout the process, will expect the kids to do a lot of things. So you will give them tasks. You're going to do the research. You're going to do this presentation. If you have one of the kids that is the tech savvy one, and that's the one who's going to do your presentations, then, okay, you're responsible of this, and you have to comply with a due date to deliver. Why didn't you do it? What happened? Where's your commitment? Remember that BEO means commitment, means willingness, means, hard work. And so kids have to know that, because when they get to the competition, there will be moments where they're not going to be with you. Sometimes they'll be in a workshop. In the improvisation challenges, they're going to be on their own. They have to know and work and comply with curfews and with other demands of the program. So it's important that they learn to do things by themselves, and that they're responsible of the things that they do. They learn, of course, to investigate and apply. Every single competition the kids do, even if it's the song, they have to do research before preparing and coming up with an idea. And then you have this beautiful application that turns out into the presentations. So throughout this process, they reinforce a lot of values, and I can mention tons, but values that are so important, like respect, empathy, tolerance, collaboration, responsibility, and I can name so many others that are implicit in the process of a training like this one. And they develop other skills. This is not only about their English speaking skills, but they develop social skills. And this is very important, and intercultural understanding. I think that even if we prepare them before the trip, because we usually try to, and this I wanted to add, when we do training, the training should not only be focused on the academics and the competitions. We also have to train the kids for what they're going to do when they get there. Culturally, we're all different, and they have to know how to move in the city. They have to know what is expected in that country. How do they move on in the metro or the escalators in a place where they might go? Which things are considered, you know, disrespectful in the country that maybe in our country are not. So we have to train them for the cultural experience, but there will be no comparison on what possible training you give them until they get there and they actually meet new people and they get to meet their, you know, their classmates, and they experience that, and they talk to them and they see their cultural differences and their cultural similarities. So that intercultural exchange, some of them have made friendships for ever, I think. And so it is important that they have this opportunity. Now, what better way of listening or knowing what BEO or a program of this sort does for a student that hearing it from actually the, you know, the ones that have the leading roles, that are the students. I was very lucky to contact some of my former BEO kids. They're in the university, some in the States, some in Europe, some in Taiwan. And I asked them if they could please send a video letting me know what BEO represented for them. I asked them to briefly tell me what they learned from BEO and how BEO has helped them in their life. So I would like to share with you this video from my students of different years for us to see the students' perspective. Let's watch the video.
Hey everyone, my name is Alex Romero and I am a BEO alumni. I participated in the 2016 Olympics. And as of today, BEO is still probably one of the most impactful events of my life. I am a senior majoring in chemical engineering at the University of Kansas.
Lesbia, the sound is super
One
slow.
of the things that you should have are strong communication
perfect.
and leadership. BEO was an amazing opportunity to develop and strengthen those from such a young age. And outside of the academic curriculum, BEO was just such a cool place to meet people from different countries and learn about different cultures. And 4 years later, I still have been able to keep up with a lot of the friendships that I made at BEO. So it's definitely just an amazing experience, to say the least.
Hello, my name is Genesis Mejia. I was a participant of BEO in the year 2016, 4 years ago. And my experience with the program was nothing but the best because it gave me the opportunity to get to know London for the very first time. And it also allowed me to meet amazing people from all around the world. And as much fun as that was, it also helped me improve many of my skills, such as public speaking, because it helped me be a little less shy in a way. And it also helped me with my team working skills, which both of these have had a great impact in my college studies.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniela Lobo. I participated in the BEO program in 2016 and was the first group from my school to attend this program. It was a great honor and opportunity to get the chance to represent my country and my school in London. The experiences I got from BEO, I still remember to this day. It made me into the person who realized that I wanted a career with communications, and I couldn't recommend a better program than this one.
Hi everyone, my name is Ana Romero and I assisted to BEO on 2018. BEO for me was something life-changing because it helped me improve my English skills. It helped me be in a place I've never been before. It helped me meet new people from other countries and communicate with them in English. And it's a competition I highly recommend because it helps you improve your English skills.
Hello, my name is Lucia Fonseca, and I got the opportunity to be part of the program BEO. It is one in a lifetime experience. Actually, it's one of the best experiences I've done in school. I got the chance to represent my school while competing with so many other schools from all around the world. I had a blast of a time with my friends, and I met so many people from different countries and their cultures. We went to visit amazing places like the Tower of London and the London Eye. The knowledge and experience gained from this program is priceless.
Hello, my name is Raul Barnica. I attended BEO in 2018, and this was a very valuable experience for me because I had the chance to travel to another country with some of my best friends, compete alongside them. I had the chance to meet new people and learn about their cultures. This trip also helped me with my English oral skills, and it helped me become a more responsible person. I really enjoyed the trip, and I'm never going to forget it.
Well, so as I said, what better way to actually, see what it does in students' life than to hear it from them, It's amazing to see how many of them decided even on their career of choice based on their experience, or that independently from, anything that they have done independently from that, they were able to use those skills, master them for their life. So I think that has, to be the best payment ever that we can have as teachers. Now, when you get to the actual competition, of course, this is the core, and that's where we have worked hard for almost 6 months of training. We work from 5 to 6 months. And yes, we get to the competition, and it is time to compete. Yes, we will rehearse. Yes, but not in a way that will prevent your kids from enjoying the experience. I would, suggest, because I know that we're all competitive and we will have competitive kids, but as you get there, you will receive your scheduling with the days that you have for outings, the days that you have for special events, and of course, the days of your competitions. So our job does not end when we get there. When we get there, we're going to still schedule and think about how are we going to allow our kids to enjoy, but at the same time, do a little rehearsing. It shouldn't be about killing yourself with your kids and doing hours and hours, because what you rehearsed. It's basically just because of the nervousness before the actual competition. But allow the kids to enjoy. They will get the opportunity in the different outings they have, not only to go to London, but to also go to other cities like Brighton and Oxford and Cambridge, and to really experience what is to be there and to be in Europe. And then within campus, there are a variety of activities that you should allow the kids to do, from football tournaments to dancing and parties. And you will always find a space. Usually at night, it's served well for me before the curfew, of course, that you have to respect. But before the curfew, there was always this time where if we had a competition the next day or two, we rehearsed both before the day of the competition. And the kids are sometimes the ones that will tell you, okay, when are we going to rehearse? Tomorrow is our competition and we want to do it. So do it, but don't overdo it. Okay, that is important. They have to be able to enjoy it. I'm sharing some of the pictures of my kids of different moments while they were, in their theater presentation or country spotlight. I see them with their outfit for Kyrgyzstan, or in a mystery challenge. If you see some of them are not with the uniform because they're not, they don't have to wear uniform for that specific challenge. And then we have the closing ceremony of the first year, which was a great experience for us. On our first year, we reached semifinals and we were 1 point short of the final, which I don't forget. But the experience was amazing. I don't think we ever thought we were going to almost reach the final on our first year, and it was just a blast. And as I said, this is a lifetime experience. So you can see with the pictures all the places the kids are going to see. And they deserve it. They deserve all the, after all the hard work, they need to know that they're there to compete, but more than that, to learn. This is a learning experience regardless of the result. And it's very important that as teachers, we tell the kids, yes, we are participating, we're competing, we would like to win, but that is not the reason we're here. And if we don't, nothing's wrong with that. If they do their best effort, if they're doing their best work, then that's more than what you will ever expect. Having, you know, the opportunity to test their skills with kids around the world is something they will never get at home. So just the fact of traveling and of being there makes them winners already. And well, basically that's my presentation for today. I want to thank you very much. I closed my presentation with my last group that attended the program. They were the winners of their campus, the Benenden East at the time. You can see their expressions. I just see those pictures and I get the chills because you see, you know, the emotion, this sense of winning, even though they were not the winners of BEO, but of their campus, and they did amazingly that year, very close again. Well, God knows when this will happen for us, and let's see what the future has ahead of us. So thank you very much. If there are any questions, then the floor is open, or any comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lesbia. It was an amazing presentation, as I told you yesterday. I think it's very complete, and I really think that you as a school take it in another level. Like, I really see the consideration you give to the children and all the effort they make to participate in BEO. That's not something that all schools do. And I personally respect and thank you for that, because they really work really, really hard for this competition. And well, if you teachers have any questions to ask to Ms. Lesbia, this is your time. They're saying that thank you for this wonderful tag. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and tips. Congratulations for being a finalist. Everyone's really thankful, and we are too.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. And as I said before, by no means I consider myself an expert. It's just, you know, from colleague to colleague, this is a teacher collaboration. I think that we have to be open about the way we do things, because there's no formula, there's no special recipe. And it's not about, you know, being selfish and not letting people know, okay, so I don't want to tell them because I don't want them to know how we do it. And I know it's a natural feeling too. Every school has their own way of doing things. But also, you know, the school was very open for this participation, and glad to have me invited. And I'm very thankful just for sharing. And if anything that I said today helps you to add something to your process that you haven't done before, great. And anyways, if you have suggestions for me, I'm more than happy to take them so I can incorporate them to my own process.
Well, we have Naila Salman asking if they can have your contact information.
Oh yes, you can write to my email, which is El Nasser. I can write it on the chat.
Yeah, you can write it on the chat.
At dowoschool.net. Yes, I'm gonna write it there. Just give me a moment. Okay, that's my email. So anything that I can do for you, I'm more than glad to help you out. If you're a first timer and you have doubts and I don't know how you do this, Lesbia, please. Not that I'm an expert, but after 4 tries, I think that I can at least give you there you go. My email is there. So if any of you wants to, you know, contact me and ask me if you have doubts in whatever I have the answers, I'm more than willing to help.
Perfect. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, thank you for being here. Remember that this session was recorded and will be uploaded in YouTube, so you can watch it again if you want to. And remember that there are other, I'm sorry, ¿se frizó? No, I'm sorry.
No.
Remember there are other sessions available for you today and tomorrow. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Lesbia, for participating with us. You are Bye. Thank you for everything. See you in another session.
Yes, thank you. Happy to be with you. Bye.